Hi, I'm Chris from Dynojet. Today I'm going to show you how to install a Power Commander 5 with fuel and ignition control to this 2012 Triumph Speedmaster. These principles in this installation also apply to the 2013 models as well as the Triumph America. We're going to start the installation by first removing the seat. Next we'll start taking off the fuel tank, starting with this gauge cluster. Now I can pull the tank. I'm going to pull off this right side cover. I'll need to pull this cover from under the seat to access the bike's crank position sensor connectors. We'll need to remove this panel from the left-hand side of the bike, starting with this chrome cover. After removing the two bolts, we'll go ahead and pop this plastic cover off. We'll need to remove both of these plastic panels covering the ignition coils on both sides of the frame. I've used the supplied Velcro to secure the Power Commander 5 module on top of the stock ECU. I then route the harness under the right-hand side frame rail, underneath the seat, back underneath the left-hand frame rail, and forward towards the engine, following the left-hand side of the frame. The first connection we'll come to is underneath the seat, and that is this 2-pin white and black connector. This is the crank position sensor connectors. We're going to unplug those stock connectors, and we're going to plug the Power Commander 5 wiring harness in line with the stock crank position sensor connectors. We're going to go ahead and ground our ground wire with the 6mm ring lug to the negative terminal of the bike's battery. The next set of connections we'll come to are to the fuel injector sub harness. This is a pair of black 3-pin connectors located in between the throttle bodies. We'll plug our Power Commander harness in line with the stock fuel injector sub harness. Next we'll want to tap our gray wire of the Power Commander wiring harness to the signal wire of the bike's throttle position sensor. This is the green wire with the yellow tracer. We're going to use our supplied posi tap to attach this gray wire to the green-yellow wire of the TPS. Now I would recommend coming back further on the harness and cutting away some of the harness sheathing back here and making your connection there so that the connection isn't clearly visible with the bike reassembled. Now that we've routed our harness down the left-hand side of the frame, we're going to come to our left ignition coil. We're going to plug the Commander leads with the red-colored wires in line of the hot side of the coil. That's the bottom wire that is solid black. We'll then plug the solid green and white green connector pair with the negative side of the coil. And the stock wire color on the negative side of the coil is the black wire with blue tracer, and it's going to the upper tab of the coil. We'll then need to route the coil leads with the blue and white blue wires to the other side of the frame, where we'll connect to the right coil. Here on the right ignition coil, we're going to unplug the top wire, which is a black wire with a red tracer, and we'll plug the blue leads from the Power Commander harness in line with that stock wire and the ignition coil. The last thing we'll need to do is unplug our stock O2 sensors from the stock wiring harness, and we'll plug our supplied O2 sensor eliminator plugs into these connections in place of the stock O2 sensors. The stock O2 sensors will no longer be active or connected to anything. They can be removed from the exhaust if desired. And now that the Power Commander and the O2 sensor eliminators are installed, we can start putting the bike back together.
For more information, check us out at DennisKirk.com.